Hello everyone. In our last video tutorial, we deleted our droplet in order to save costs. Now, in this video tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to recreate it, but we're going to add some extra parameters to it to make it just better, to have something useful, let's say. So let's go to the DigitalOcean documentation, the DigitalOcean provider for Terraform. And let's see what we can do, right? So we have image, which is required, and we already have it. The name required, we have it. Region required, we have it. Size required, we have it. Now backups, for now we're not interested in. Monitoring is a Boolean to enable actual monitoring from DigitalOcean. So DigitalOcean allows you to have some monitoring on your resources, CPU and memory. And I think that's quite interesting. So let's just do that, right? Monitoring equals true. It's a Boolean, so that's the way you define it. IPv6, not interested as of now. VPC UUID, no. Private networking, so we said that our servers will sit in a private network. So yeah, I mean, I think we will be interested in this at some point at least. So let's just do that. Then we have SSH keys, which is a list of SSH IDs. SSH IDs, as you can see, it doesn't say a list of SSH strings. It's just SSH IDs. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the list, and here we need the keys, right? We don't know yet how we're going to get that, but we know that we need them. Resize disk, no. We're gonna add no tags to it as of now. And then user data. Now user data basically uses cloud-init in order to whatever you want to do, right? Provision the server or do whatever you need to do with the server. And we're going to use it in order to install certain software that we need and then to run an application, a Hello World application. That is interesting because we want to be able to actually have something useful in the server. Now, the correct way that I would use for this for you is not by using user data, but by actually using provisioning software that that would generate an image based on that, like Packer. So Terraform is from HashiCorp, and HashiCorp also offers Packer, which is an open source image generation. Basically, it's for image generation. So you can create your own custom image, and then instead of having the Ubuntu image, have your custom image here. Now, we're not going to do that in this course. This is only about Terraform, but just letting you know, you can go around and look at that. So let's continue with this, right? SSH keys, what is that? It says a list of SSH IDs. So when it says IDs, it means that we can actually somehow query or create SSH keys. So as you can see, there's another resource, which is DigitalOcean SSH key. So let's add that. DigitalOcean SSH key, I'm gonna name it web. Sorry, it's not the name, that's the ID for Terraform. And I'm gonna say web app SSH key. File is a function that takes somewhere from the local file system, whatever you want to put in, right? So it will read the file and put here the string, resultant string. So that will be, in our case, path.module. This will basically gives you the current directory. And I'm going to say /files/idrsa.pub. So what we need here is we're going to create a directory, which is files. And inside of this, we're going to add our public SSH key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cp, I'm going to copy my SSH public key to files. There you go. So now we have the file idrsa.pub, and then in here we need to reference this generated SSH key ID. So what we're going to do is literally do that. DigitalOcean SSH key dot web dot and the ID. Now, what is this ID? This is an output from the DigitalOcean SSH key resource. So as you can see, the attribute reference is the ID, the fingerprint, the public key, and the name. We can do exactly the same thing by having outputs from our modules, but for now we're not going to use that, and I'm not sure we're going to use it in this course. We're going to have a look depending on what we need in the future, right? So we have the SSH key ID that we want to assign, and then we need user data. So user data, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file here, which is going to be called user-data.sh, for example, and I'm gonna do /bin bash. I'm going to install well, first the apt-get update. It's an Ubuntu box, so I can use apt-get. I'm gonna do apt-get install git, apt-get install NodeJS. As I said, this is just because I want to run a NodeJS app. apt-get install npm. Once I do that, I'm going to install pm2, which is a process manager for Node.js, and it will run my app. Then I'm going to clone this little project that I've created, which is basically a hello world using express.js. So it will be git clone this guy to a folder called app, and then cd app, right, npm install, and pm choose start index.js. Index.js is basically the actual index file we have here. I believe this will be enough. So we'll give it a try. If it doesn't work, then we'll redo it. So what we're gonna say is here file, same thing, right? So path.module /files /user-data.sh. I believe this should work. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. So Terraform plan. All right, before we do that, let's we've done here a lot of stuff, and it's not properly formatted. So let's look at another command that we have, which is Terraform fmt, stands for format. There you go, now perfectly formatted. And now we can do a plan. And what it's telling me right now is, because I have nothing on my DigitalOcean account, it will create a droplet and it will create an SSH key. All right, so let's apply that. It's going to ask me, are you sure? Yes. Now let's just a quick reminder of what the Node.js thing is doing. It's basically listening on port 8080, and it's doing a hello world. So if we actually get that hello world, that means it's working. It's working just fine. Cool. So let's see what this is doing. It says it's creating the resource. So let's go to DigitalOcean and make sure. I'm in. Okay, it says that the server is created here. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. It's happy. It's happy. So now I should actually be able to SSH into the server. Why? Because I've added my SSH key, right? So SSH root at the IP address. It's going to ask me whether I want to add my fingerprint. Yes. There you go. We're here. Right. Now, let's check whether we have PM2 installed. It's not at the moment. So the reason for that is the user data script is actually executed on startup, but that is executed basically in a, let's call it async way. So it may not be installed just yet, even though the box is actually up. If I go to this IPv4 address and enter it here, there is nothing. Connection is refused. So we can actually have a look at what's going on with cloud-init by tailing var log cloud-init output.log. So as you can see, it's still doing stuff, right? So we have to wait for it to finish. And once it's done, then we'll be able to, there you go, as you can see, it's installing Node.js still. So as I said, the fact that you've executed a cloud-init script, that doesn't mean that it's finished by the time the server is ready and you can actually SSH into it. So bear that in mind. Let's see. Let's wait for it to actually finish. As you can see now, it's doing installing npm. Again, we're not using the latest versions. We're not doing, this is just code is not what we're interested in right now. What we're interested in is Terraform and how it works. There you go. It seems like now PM2 is installed and it seems like it's finished. So we should be able to reload this and see a hello world. Not yet. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The reason is it's import 8080. There you go. Hello world. So it's working. We've created a server, we've provisioned it with the user data, which, as I said before, is not the right way of doing it, but we've done it. It has a private IP, as you can see.